If you've had even half an eye on the new cars being released recently, you'll probably have noticed that electric SUVs account for absolutely loads of them. A few months ago, we even took it upon ourselves to film a massive 10-car electric SUV mega test just so we could get through them all. Time waits for no one though, and now there is another electric SUV on the horizon, the Genesis GV60. And before we delve into the car itself, you might well need a catch-up on the company. The Genesis brand only recently launched in Europe, and it represents the luxury arm of the Hyundai Corporation. Think of the relationship between Lexus and Toyota and you're just about there. But before we go any further, don't forget to subscribe to the CarGurus UK YouTube channel. Don't make me beg, so unbecoming. It's fair to say that the GV60 is a bit of a line in the sand for Genesis. At the moment, the company's product range consists of luxury saloons and SUVs that are powered mainly by petrol and diesel. The GV60, on the other hand, is the company's first model that is 100% electric, something that all the firm's cars will be in the next few years. The two-line headlamp design is something you'll see on all of the company's cars because it's very much a Genesis signature feature. But the feature that really marks the GV60 out is its roof line. It swoops down towards the back of the car to give a sleek, coupe-like shape, and as it does so, the window line swoops up at a similar rate, giving the car a kind of muscular feel. That's backed up by the large spoiler at the back, and again the tail lights are of the two-line variety. The other thing you'll notice is how short the overhangs are at either end of the car, and that's because the wheels have been pushed out to the four corners. That should help in the agility stakes, although sadly we're not going to be able to put that to the test today. And that is a shame because some of the numbers look pretty compelling. The first of the three versions available is the rear-wheel drive car with 228 metric horsepower. Then the four-wheel drive model adds another motor on the front axle to give 318 horsepower. This, however, is the performance model, which has more powerful motors at either end to give a combined power output of 436 metric horsepower. But that's not all. Have a look at the steering wheel and you'll find a button with the word boost written on it. Press that and for 10 seconds your power output is hiked up to a whopping 490 horsepower, and that makes it very fast indeed. Like 0 to 62 in 4 seconds fast. But what about range? Well, the figures we've seen so far are merely estimates for the Korean market car, and European specs haven't yet been announced. But we reckon that if you work on a real-world return of somewhere between 200 and 250 miles on the performance version, you probably won't be too far wide of the mark. The figures on charging times are similarly sketchy, but your average 50 kilowatt rapid charger should give you a 10% to 80% top up in little over an hour. And if you can find a super high speed 350 kilowatt charger, that same charge can be delivered in less than 20 minutes. What's more, if you get the right sort of home charger installed, you can even charge the thing wirelessly. Now, size-wise, the GV60 sits somewhere between an Audi Q3 and an Audi Q5, so it's perhaps a little bit disappointing that the 432 litres of boot space you get is about 100 litres down on either of those. Still, it is a nice square shape and there is more storage under the bonnet. This totals 20 litres or 53 litres depending on whether your car has all-wheel drive or not. But in either case, it's big enough to cope with your cables. Walk up to one of the doors when the car's locked and you'll find that the handle pops out automatically and kind of offers itself to you. Neat bit of technology that, and remember that word technology because there is a lot of it coming up. Rear space is a little bit snug, it has to be said. Legroom isn't too bad, but the headroom is a little bit restricted. So if you're 6'1" like I am, you might find yourself feeling a little bit hemmed in. There's not a lot of space under the front seats for your feet either, but there is no hump in the floor back here. So anyone sitting in the middle seat will have more foot space than usual. Sit up front and you're pretty much bombarded by all that technology we talked about. Look up here, for example. You don't have a door mirror. Oh no, nothing so vulgar. Instead, you have this little screen mounted on top of the door card, and that projects an image taken by a camera mounted on the A-pillar, and that shows you the view down the side of the car. It does feel a bit like technology for technology's sake, to be honest, a bit like using a sledgehammer to crack a nut, but it is very cool nonetheless. There are more screens in front of you, obviously, one showing all your driving information and one to deal with all the car's various infotainment functions, of which there are a great many. But the two screens are kind of brought together into one sleek-looking panoramic unit. With this layout and with the quickness and the slickness of the high-definition graphics, there is more than a whiff of Mercedes about this system, and that is a very good thing. It's just as easy to use too, because the menus are logically arranged and you scroll through them with this intuitive wheel controller. And that's not all. The infotainment system keeps itself bang up to date with over-the-air updates, which, to be fair, is nothing new for Genesis. However, for the first time on the GV60, these over-the-air updates can be applied to other electrical systems in the car on top of the infotainment. Suspension, brakes, airbags, steering and driver assistance systems can all be updated without the need to visit a dealer. Now, the pessimistic among you might take the view that all this technology means a lot of complexity and there's an awful lot in this car to go wrong. So, how reliable is it all going to be? Well, if only we had a crystal ball, right? Well, turns out in the GV60 you do, although admittedly this one isn't going to help you with the reliability question. Down here in the centre console is what Genesis calls the crystal sphere. With the car turned off, it projects mood lighting around the cabin. Turn the car on by scanning your fingerprint here. Of course you do, why wouldn't you? And that tells the car who you are, and as a result which of the settings are needed for the seat, the steering wheel, the door mirror cameras, all of that stuff. You then put your foot on the brake and press the starter button, and the sphere rotates automatically and turns it into your gear selector. Again, it's completely needless, but quite cool. But what about that reliability question? Well, the Hyundai Corporation, from which the GV60 comes, has a pretty much impeccable record on that score, while the plush materials and neat assembly make the car feel like it'll last several lifetimes. And if something does go wrong, you've got a 5-year warranty to back you up. Should your car need work, it'll cause you barely any hassle. That is the company's entire spiel, to make ownership as fuss-free as possible and to make little or no demand on its customers' time. Your dedicated Genesis personal assistant will collect the car from you, replace it with a like-for-like courtesy car and bring it back when the work's finished. Full European specs and, more importantly, prices haven't yet been announced, but we'd expect them to be roughly in line with electric SUV rivals from the likes of Audi, BMW and Mercedes, perhaps a fraction cheaper. So for us, the initial signs with the GV60 look really encouraging, but with rivals like those, this car is going to have to deliver on the road as well as in the studio, and we cannot wait to find out whether it does. What do you think of the GV60? Are you excited by its arrival, or will you be sticking with one of the more conventional German offerings? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe to the CarGurus YouTube channel.